All right, so we left off with wedging because you need to do that before you start. So our very first project of working with clay is going to be what's called a pinch pot. Pinch pot is the oldest way of working with clay, of making pots, because basically you really just need your hands. We will use other tools to help make it look better, but ultimately your main tools are your hands. It's called a pinch pot because you're going to be pinching the clay to thin it out. Now you don't want to squish and kill the clay because that's going to make it uneven. We want to do just little pulse kind of pinches in order to get it even and smooth. Okay, so when we left off, we've got that round ball of clay. And you can decide how much you want with yours, the chunks that I gave you. If you want to go a little less, that's okay. So we got it nice and round like a snowball, all good and packed. We're going to start with your thumb. We're going to put it in the clay and then stop before you make it through the bottom. So maybe about a ½ inch or so from the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to take and kind of pinch. So I'm just kind of pinching and pushing up. I'm in the bottom corner of this trying to thin it out. So a little bit at a time, and I'm rotating. So notice it's rotating in my hand. Okay, and I'm just going to do that till I kind of work my way all the way to the top. Okay, so it's kind of looking like this now. So it's opening it up, it's thinning it out, we're getting a little more shape. But that's still really thick. So we're going to push them to be better. This isn't your kindergarten pots anymore. We want nice thin walls, nice even walls. Okay, so if you can get down in there a little more, you can do that another time. I always check, kind of feel. You got to feel the clay. Feel that thickness, make sure it's even. So next, I'm going to put it down on the surface. I'm working on a plastic container here as my little kind of banding wheel. I'm going to go from the bottom, and I'm going to pinch up now a little bit, okay? So now we're trying to get a little more height while we thin out the clay. So again, they're just tiny little pulse pinches, working my way up. And you're going to see this is thinning out the walls more. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just a minute. But we don't want to push out too much. You're going to end up with this big floppy bowl. Okay? So you're going to see from this now that we thinned it out quite a bit more. All right? So now I'm going to go to the bottom. And I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go right hand on the inside, my right thumb. And my left hand, though, has to support it. So I can push against it and then up. Okay? If you're a lefty, you just reverse that. So I'm at the bottom, and I'm pushing clay to the edge and up. So kind of from the center of it to the outer wall and then up. Now you don't want to break through, so if you feel like you're thinning that out too much, ease up on the pressure. So this will also help to smooth out the inside. And so you kind of keep going around. If I need to just work it in the upper part of it, you're just going to do that. So you keep working with the clay. So for right now, don't worry about the top edge looking funny or cracking or anything like that. We'll fix that later. Right now, you're trying to get even thickness, okay? And working on the shape. You want a good balance of the form, okay? All the way around, okay? And we can trim all that unevenness off afterwards, all right? So still working, I'm a little thick in the bottom corners, so I'm going to keep going around. Okay, you need to have this hand supporting. If you don't, you're going to push your walls out too much. Okay, so every now and then, stop, take a look, check the balance. All right? If you need to push out a little bit more somewhere, you can do that. If part of your wall is maybe one side sticking out more than the other, okay, and I'll just purposely do that here, okay? So let's say you got this side sticking out a little bit too much. take one of your knives, whether it be the plastic knife, which is the only one I'm finding right now, and I'm going to cut what's called a V. Okay, remove it. So it's called a V cut because, as you can see, I cut a V out of it. All right. Now what I'm going to do is the scoring, which is scratching the surface of the clay. And I'm going to do both parts and then just bring that together. Okay. And you seam it up good. So just a little pressure. Make sure the top's melted. And on the inside. Okay. And that gets our shape back to good, and you don't even notice where you did if you got it blended in nice. Not on the inside either. Okay, so keep working your way, thinning out the walls, smooth it out. When you think you have that good, okay, a couple things we can do before you move on. Get your small piece of sponge. If you don't like all the finger marks on the inside, you can use the sponge to kind of get in there and smooth it out and make that part look better as well, okay? A little bit of water on the sponge is just going to help it to glide across the surface a little more, all right? So maybe hard to see, not good lighting, trying to catch any in there, but it's smooth and it looks pretty good that way, all right? So next what we're going to do is take your makeshift rib. Mine was Dean's Ranch Dip, okay? And what I'm going to first do is get a little more sponge. I don't want to get too much water on your project or it's just going to make it soft and just collapse on you. So a little bit. And I'm going to dip my makeshift rib. Now it's flexible, and so we want that flexed to keep that curve. So I'm going to use that, and this is what's going to help smooth the outside and hopefully fill in any cracks. So you're going to go around like that. And it doesn't matter. You can go different directions. Okay. Once that starts to stick a little bit, though, get a little bit more water on it. Okay. You want it to be able to glide across the surface of the clay and to smooth it all out. Notice again how my hand is on the inside, giving support, allowing me to scrape that outside. Okay. And make that smoother. So now my outside's looking pretty smooth and good. Okay, so now we focus on that top edge we talked about. That's maybe not looking so good. Hopefully you have a ruler around the house that you can use. And what we're going to do is find the lowest point. Mine is right there. Okay, and see where that measures about. And I'm right about 3 inches, so I'm going to make a little mark. Rotate and make a mark. So you're going to do that all the way around so you'll have an even top. All right, so then now we're going to cut off that extra, and I'm still not finding the knife I want. My little plastic knife that I gave all you guys too, can't seem to find it, so I'll continue with this one. So I'm going to pierce it through, okay, and now basically just connect my dots. Now I don't want to seesaw it back and forth. I just want to support the top, okay, and push that knife through. That will make the smoothest top for your project. Okay, so just cutting it through, clay's soft, so it's allowing it to happen. Okay, and just take that off. This just can go back in your bag and save it for another project, okay? So now, looking a little better there, but we never want to leave that as just a raw top after you cut it. So you can either just get your fingers a little bit wet, and you want to round up that top edge. This will also allow for you to check the thickness of your clay. Again, we want to get to about a 1/4 inch thickness, and we want that nice and smooth. You can also use the sponge, okay? And I can use that and go around it. I like going with my fingers on the edge, okay? And then right over the edge of that. That way I'm getting both sides at once and keeping that nice and smooth. Okay? And keep going. If any part of it is you don't like it, okay, work with it, fix it. Remember, clay is plasticky, it's fixable, it's workable. If the project's just not going good, crush it in a ball, re-wedge the clay, restart. If you don't like it, no sense in trying to save it. Restart until you make something you like. You've got the time, okay? I'm going to check back in with you in a couple days to see how this is going and tell you what we're going to do next.